Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. It's time for Taroscopes. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Cancer for the month of April 2023. That would be Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, or if you have a Cancer Rising. So before we get into the card reading, I want to just talk a little bit about the astrology of April. April is not nearly as fraught as the astrology of March. We had a lot of shifting energy in March, a lot of changes. We're sort of in a new sort of cycle, at least temporarily, focused on the future, I think, with Pluto in Aquarius now. And then also not just focused on the future, but also reviewing the past as Saturn, the planet of testing, moves through Pisces. Now, Pisces is a sign that is trine your sign. So your Cancer planets will be supported through this journey of Saturn through Pisces, in that Pisces and Cancer and Scorpio even trine that. And so trines bring a flow of energy. And when it's Saturn, the flow is of support. So there's a sense of feeling supported, perhaps in a way that you haven't felt supported in a really long time. And so Saturn in Pisces is also our capacity to create that which we fear the most. So we do have to be aware that it's not all, I mean, the flow is there, and what we decide to do with it is up to us. So we can either create more reasons to be afraid, or we can create more of a new paradigm, which of course is exactly what we need. As far as the lunar phases through this month, we do have a full moon in Libra with the sun in Aries. Cancer squares that. So from Cancer's perspective, you're looking, it's almost like you're looking at that opposition between the sun in Aries and the moon in Virgo. As a participant, like, you have to make decisions, like there's a crossroads going on, and that full moon will help to illuminate the road, so to speak, so you can decide which direction you're going to go in, where you're going to put your energy. That particular full moon occurs on the 6th, so the beginning of the month. And then we also have a new moon that's occurring on the 20th. And that new moon is in the last degree of Aries. Remember, we just had a new moon in Aries in March, on March 21st it was, at 1 degree of Aries. And now on the other end of that, we're going to have one at 30 degrees of Aries. And not only is it sort of a parentheses around the Aries energy, of which there is much Aries energy. We have the sun in Aries, we have Mercury in Aries, we have Jupiter in Aries, we have Chiron in Aries, okay? So there's a lot of Aries energy. But that last new moon in Aries, the one that's happening at 30 degrees, is an eclipse. Eclipse season begins in April, at with the new moon at 30 degrees of Aries. So yay, eclipse season. So I said it wasn't going to be as active, but of course eclipse season is always active. And with eclipse season, it's expect the unexpected. It is a North Node eclipse. And so it is about moving forward into the unknown future, which is really what the whole shift in March was about. It's about moving into a new paradigm, even if it's just temporary, because eventually, after about 2.5 or a little bit more than that months in Aquarius, Pluto's going to step back into Capricorn. Pluto has to still deal with some Capricorn issues. I think probably banking might be one of them. I think there's going to be a refurbishing of the financial system. I think we need more regulations. I think we need more support for the people if we are to move into that Pluto in Aquarius without perhaps a bank collapse of some sort. Of course, we just had a bank collapse, right? We just had a bank collapse in March, and everybody got nervous because of the last time we had a bank collapse. But we'll see. We'll see how that precipitates out, as it were. I think an economy based on war is probably not amenable. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. So that's what's going on as far as the astrology. I think that I want to mention, of course, Cancer is a moon ruled sign. So the lunations, the new moons, the quarter moons, the full moons, and especially the eclipses are always going to be felt pretty deeply by anybody who's ruled by the moon, right? Which is Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon, the only sign, in fact, ruled by the moon. Okay, let's go. Now I'm using the Thoth Deck because I'm brave. No, I'm a Cancer. I could take it. And we'll see what the Thoth Deck has to say about April. So what do we need to be aware of in April for the Cancer? For the Cancer, whether it's the sun, the moon, or the rising. Also, Cancer is the sun sign of the United States. So there can be some indications, even though this is more of a personal sort of person reading, we can apply it perhaps to the country as well, if we choose to. All right, let's see what we got here. What we got. All right, we're starting with the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is a energy of dominion, stability. She is a Leo. She is the energy of Leo. In a lot of decks, you'll see a little black cat at her feet. In this deck, we have, it looks like a leopard or a jaguar. So still a cat, but a little bit bigger, can do a little more damage, as it were. She's got her giant staff there with the pine cone on top. The pine cone is symbolic of the pineal gland. We also see all these rays coming out of her head. She's kind of like a sitting Statue of Liberty a little bit, don't you think? But this is really about being at home, being the queen of your domain energy, keeping the hearth fires burning. So things are warm and cozy as we start the month, and you're in a place of power, so to speak. Let's see what challenges that. Change. The death card is this change. So there's a part of you that's used to being the queen of your domain, but the changes that are happening are going to be challenging to you. Let's see what's underneath it. We have the Prince of Discs. Prince of Discs here is the King of Discs. This is about stability. It's about dominion. It's about knowing the direction you want to take maybe your business. But it is a stable foundation to have. So we have a stable energy in the Queen of Wands, the Leo energy. We have a stable energy in the Prince of Discs, which is a Capricorn energy. So with the Queen and the Prince here, I'm feeling that you are sort of on stable footing, and the change is happening, but you're still on stable footing. So that's good. The Cancers love that. They love stable footing because Cancer is the sign of having to deal with constant change, right? Cancer rules where the ocean meets the shore, and where the waves come in. And sometimes they can be beautiful and lapping and relaxing, and sometimes they can be tidal, or they can be fierce and can tear you apart. So it's symbolic of the feelings that you may feel. So right now, things are feeling a little bit perhaps more stable than they have in the past. And yet you're still able to move with the change, because as any little crab knows that lives on the, at the junction between earth and water, sometimes you have to dig yourself a hole to protect yourself. And sometimes you can sun out in the sun, and hopefully a seagull doesn't come pick you off, but that's another story for another day. I don't know what sign the seagull would be, but anyway, in the past, we have the Hanged Man. So you are familiar with a sense of feeling powerless. I mean, the Hanged Man is about it's about not really having the power to change anything except yourself and your view on things. And yet there's also this connection to cosmic consciousness with the Hanged Man. So while it's not always the most pleasant, there's always connection with it, because Cancer is like any sign. Cancer is a cardinal sign, so any of the cardinal signs don't like to sit still. They don't like to stand still. Of course, Cancer will never go forward. It always sort of goes side to side or backwards. That's what crabs can do. There's another symbol for Cancer is the turtle, right? The person who carries their house on their back. But even the turtle, while can move forward, doesn't move forward quickly, right? So everything has its pace with Cancer. So Cancer is in its way not particularly thrilled to be in the Hanged Man position, but it is familiar with the ocean that the Hanged Man symbolizes, that ocean of cosmic consciousness, which Cancer is always a part of, as it tries to come onto shore to bring the feelings and the consciousness and the understanding of the deep ocean to earthlings, as it were. Let's see what's in the sky. Okay, we have the Prince of Cups in the sky. This is the King of Cups, another king, two kings and a queen. So there's a lot of sense of being leadership. And then, of course, the Prince of Cups is a leader with heart. So either you can, if there's somebody you need to ask an opinion about something, there are people there who can help you, or this can be you. This can be this can be spirit saying you can do this. You can do this. Let's see the immediate future. Boy, I tell you, we have all of them. The Knight of Discs. This is about being patient. You have done your work, you've done your due diligence, you've planted your seeds, and now it's time to just wait and protect those seeds that you planted. So it's a protective, not particularly highly active time, but a time of rest to a certain extent, but rest, but vigilant rest, like you're watching. You're making sure that those things that you have planted are protected and taken care of. So it's about nurturing through patience. Let's see how it's seen from the outside. You're seen as a truth teller and a seeker of truth. So despite Cancer's tendency not to directly confront energy, because it's not a confront, it will confront, especially, God forbid, you hurt somebody a Cancer loves, their child, their animal, or somebody who's powerless. The Cancer is the one jumping out of the car, to save the kittens on the side of the road, and they're the ones who are standing up when somebody gets bullied. That's all Cancer stuff. Well, it's not all Cancer, but certainly Cancer can do that. Let's see your domestic situation. You are the emperor of your domain. This is about dominion. Wow, this is really powerful, Cancer. I mean, the Thoth deck is not the easiest deck to read, but these cards are lovely for Cancer. I mean, it's easy to read, but it doesn't always, some of the cards are like, right? Anyway, hopes and fears, power. Not sure Cancer's fear power, although they can have a tendency to get stuck. Cancers can. So sometimes that feeling of being hemmed in is not all that comfortable. But the hope would be that you have the capacity to protect your homestead, right? There's protection right there. Yeah. Sun in Capricorn. All right, outcome. All right, we have the moon. So there's a lot of changes, a lot of shifts, a lot of emotional ups and downs. You will feel those. You will feel those, but it's important. And you are a moon rule sign. So it's really hard when things are when there's a lot of emotional upheaval, which of course, honestly, Uh, when hasn't there been? I mean, I almost feel like saying, when hasn't there been emotional upheaval? We are in a time, I mean, I do remember a time in my life when you could go for years in like not a rut, but in a direction. And then chaos would ensue and you'd have to change your direction, and you would change your direction and then you would go on. But now it's like every other step is a change of direction to a certain extent. So it can be emotionally difficult in that respect. Underneath, we have the Knight of Cups. This is an offering of love. The Hermit, this is about shining your light, um, teaching what you know, understanding that you co-create with the universe. And then we have the Prince of Swords, which is often, this is the King of Swords. It's often, there's this guy with the big sword, and then he has all these little guys, and he's wielding the sword. But this is somebody who can navigate um, and utilize other people's talents in order to move forward. So you're moving forward, but you're not moving forward alone. So know that um, even though your wisdom is certainly welcome, you don't have to do it on your own. You will have help to move forward and to get your ideas out there. But I'm not kidding you. This can be difficult. You also might have to make a choice around whether the person that you're actually helping, or maybe you're just allowing them to be sick. So that's a consideration as well. But in general, this is a very nice reading. You have what it takes. You have what you need. You've you have what it takes, and you have what you need because of your ability to see the world in a different way, to have a different perspective on it. And when some people might throw in the towel, you persisted, and that matters. And it's actually what you've built your base upon. And persistence, putting one foot in front of the other, and changing what you can, surrendering to what you can't, and the wisdom to know the difference has gotten you in the place that you are right now. So enjoy it. Enjoy it. And don't get caught up in the ups and downs of the changes you see. I will say that you will bear witness to some suffering, as we all do at this time, because it is such a fraught time. So many ways that you can get sort of taken out of your paradigm, so to speak, whether it's a flood or a tornado or a mass shooting or a war or some other strange occurrence that runs through the consciousness of the folk. But yeah, I think you're going to be good. So let's take a look at the Starseed Oracle. I've been doing one for every sign. So let's see what Cancer says and see if it's connected to this part of the reading. Usually is, but I just have to move all these cards because they're unwieldy. So I'm using the Starseed Oracle deck. This is by Rebecca Campbell, artwork by Danielle Noel, for those of you who have yet to see this. I actually purchased this for Ona, my friend Ona, for her birthday. And where I purchased it, there was only one. So I couldn't purchase one for myself. So for a couple of months there, I was like, I wonder what I was kept looking for it, in the stores and stuff. And I finally went to Barnes and Noble and found it. And so now I get to use it too. So what does the Starseed Oracle have to say for Cancer for the month of April 2023? Starseed Oracle. It's a great deck, by the way. I found it very accurate so far. So maybe just to shuffle it too here. Can you call this? This isn't shuffling. This is, I guess it is shuffling. Fancy shuffling. Fancy dancy. Yeah, here we go. Right. Okay, what do we have? We have Star Brothers, our Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, and trust. Horus energy. Of course, Horus was the son of Osiris and Isis, the queen of heaven. He is a solar deity. He is symbolized by the hawk, which is spirit. So I would say keep your eyes peeled for hawks, Cancer. And this is at least in the northern hemisphere here and by where I live, they are up in the sky looking for mates right now. So you'll probably see one. All right. And of course, it is messages from spirit. So let's see what this says. Star Brothers. Star Brothers. Here we go. I'll hold it up because it's such a pretty card. Okay, let me just make sure you can see it. Yeah, lovely. It says you are protected. You are more protected than you can imagine. It's safe to open the back of your heart. You're being called to open up and receive a new level of support now from those in your life and from those benevolent beings you are connected with. See, I told you. Through ancestral patterning, current life traumas, and past life karmic impressions, many of us have become mistrustful and suspicious of loyalty and have blocks when it comes to receiving support. That's a very Cancer thing, by the way. They like to sometimes do it all on their own because they have trust issues. We've learned that we need to let go at life alone, that it's not safe to let our guard down and our hearts open, that, in a word, that the world isn't a friendly place. The Star Brothers want you to have a new experience of life on Earth. They want you to feel deeply secure and safe, even if you are going through a difficult time. They want you to hand over your fears to them, to see them as opportunities to let in more love. They're guiding you to stay open to receiving and a greater level of support than you can ever imagine, both in this world and beyond, to call in your team of loyal protectors and supporters, both physically and energetically. They want you to learn to soften through life's up and downs and to learn to open your heart, especially when it most wants to harden. Starseed inquiry, how can you open yourself up to receiving more support? Good question. All right, Cancer. I told you you were going to be okay. And there were people who wanted to help you. I wasn't lying. All right. Have yourself a wonderful month. Like and subscribe if you would. I want to welcome all the new subscribers. Many of them came after Cash Peters mentioned my name. Thank you for coming to my channel. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for subscribing. If you have, that's very helpful. Thumbs up are very helpful. I do have a Patreon page, which has some information that my YouTube page does not have. So if you want to be a patron of mine, that's available to you as well. Or if you're interested in having a reading, I do astrology, numerology, Kabbalah readings. They're very unique. They're a little bit different than other probably readings that you've had. I have a lot of positive feedback that they really do help. And certainly they helped me. That's how I learned how to do this type of reading, because I got one and I was astounded. And so you too can be astounded. And you can do that on my website, thesiegeoftransformation.com. You can go to services and the readings are listed. I have a 60-minute reading and a 90-minute reading. If it's your first time, I find the 90-minute reading is a good amount of time to lay down the foundations of your chart. And if it's an update, usually 60 minutes is sufficient. I'm also having a beginner's astrology class starting this month in April. So I will post that. I will make announcements, and you can find that on my website, theseedtotransformation.com, on the events page. It'll be listed on the events page. It's a 6-week course. It's about anywhere from 90 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how interactive it gets. It depends on the class, really. And it's a good basic beginner's astrology. And if you already know astrology and you want a little brush up, this is an excellent course for that. So every time I teach it, I learn something new. And isn't that what life's all about? Okay, guys, take care. Much love. My little crabbies. Namaste.